Hi all, thank you for joining the Rilem webinar series for the year 2023. I'm Khadeeja Rahman and I am a PhD student at the Deakin University. I'm here to present my research on novel self-compacting geopolymer concrete reinforced with basalt FRP bars and its applications in the marine environments. This research aims to address certain challenges in the construction sector, one of them being the increased carbon dioxide emissions that is associated with the cement production process. The second one is the corrosion repair cost that is associated with structures, especially in the marine environments or similar harsh weather conditions. Finally, the increased waste production that is associated with any construction process. This brings in the need for a new kind of geopolymer concrete or a new kind of concrete or a construction material which will address the above mentioned challenges. How will geopolymer concrete affect it, or why is the need for a geopolymer concrete? By 2056, it is assumed that the construction sector is estimated to produce around 6 gigatons of cement per annum, and that is equivalent to 6 gigatons of carbon dioxide as well. These third generation cements, called as geopolymer concrete, are made from landfill waste or ash ponds that is proven to be a sustainable construction material owing to the higher recyclability and reduced waste emissions. Geopolymer concrete, which are generally made using high alkali silica combustion byproducts, is found to minimize carbon dioxide emissions as well. And how will this product address the challenges is mentioned in the slide. The self-compacting geopolymer concrete, which is reinforced with basalt FRP bars, makes use of recycled materials like fly ash and slag, and which is directly introducing reduced carbon emissions as well. When reinforced with basalt FRP bars, this also introduces non-corrosive reinforcement, which aims at addressing the corrosion issues or the repair costs associated with it. In this research, there are three major contributions. One is the geopolymer concrete mix development, followed by its structural performance studies, and finally, the durability assessment study. In this slide, I'll explain the self-compacting geopolymer concrete production process. As the name suggests, this is a geopolymer concrete and hence it does not make use of any cement or cementitious products. The aggregates are similar to that of a conventional concrete. We make use of coarse aggregate and fine aggregate. The binder material used here replaces cement completely. Hence, we make use of fly ash, microfly ash, and slag, which are waste products that is coming from industries, especially the thermal power plants or the copper production or the iron production industries. When we mix the aggregates and binder materials in the presence of a highly alkaline product, then it creates a cementitious activity. And for this process, we make use of sodium metasilicate, which is a highly alkali containing product. By homogenizing these dry powders or this dry ingredients in the pan mixer for up to 4 minutes, we then start to add water. The intermittent addition of water is continued until 15 minutes of mixing of the whole batch. This is found to produce a self-compacting geopolymer concrete, which can be ambient cured and which is flowable and self-compacting. This means that this certain product or this type of concrete will not make use of any vibrators and thereby use less energy. This is also a zero use of cement, admixtures, and superplasticizers. This is directly contributing to reduced carbon emissions. Finally, in the way of strength, we have found that this self-compacting geopolymer concrete reports 40 MPa compressive strength at 28 days, which is greater than the normal 32 concrete, and thereby it can be classified as a structural concrete. This is a pictorial representation of the whole production process of geopolymer concrete specimens. We initially do the weighing and batching, wherein we weigh the materials that is required for the geopolymer concrete mix, and then we put them in the mixing pan mixer. And we also do a slump flow test, which determines the flowability requirements and thereby the workability of the concrete. Finally, we mold or we cast the concrete, and then we demold the specimens after 28 days of curing. And in this, the curing, it is not underwater, it is directly air curing or ambient curing, where the specimens can be demolded and left as is in the environment, in the normal environmental conditions. In the structural performance studies, we have made use of three types of studies. One is macro level studies, micro level studies, and the modeling studies. In the macro level studies, we make use of tests including uniaxial compression test, split tensile test, pull-out test, three-point bending test, and sorptivity test. The type of specimens that we use for this study is beams and as well as cylinders. In the picture shown here, we can see that the beams are mounted on each other, and this is representing a sustained loading that is equivalent to the service loading conditions. On the other picture, we can see that a beam is under three-point bending test, and we also have the bottom picture which indicates the universal test for cylinders, including compression, modulus of elasticity, and tensile test. We also conducted microstructural studies, which is made use of scanning electron microscopy and energy dispersive study. Why we do this is to ensure that, or to understand far better, what is the process behind the strength attainment and how or why these kind of macro level studies are being conducted. For example, a denser structure informs that a complete curing is done, and thereby it offers higher strength attainment after 28 days. And scanning electron microscopy also helps us to understand whether the complete reaction is taken place within the alkali silica chains in the geopolymer concrete. Also, the microstructural studies conducted on specimens immersed in various conditions help us to identify whether there is any chemical ingress or whether there is any salt formation, and what is the quantification of these amount of salts within that certain specimen. These studies were then linked together to understand and to create a holistic picture of the performance of this particular self-compacting geopolymer concrete when reinforced with bars. So in the bottom picture, you can see that there is a pull-out test setup, which is mainly conducted to assess the strength between the basalt FRP bar and the self-compacting geopolymer concrete. We have also done modeling using artificial neural network to ensure that this is how it performs for any type of or any combination or any different with different parameters of the particular self-compacting geopolymer concrete when reinforced with BFRP. The model showed very high correlation between the experimental results, and it shows how well the self-compacting geopolymer concrete performs when reinforced with basalt FRP bars. In the next slide, I am presenting the durability performance in marine conditions. To understand the durability or the performance of these particular composite in marine conditions, we used accelerated weathering tanks. As you can see, two large tanks of the size of like very big tanks of 2000 liter per plus water capacity is used. And we have used automated accelerated weathering tank controls, which can control the cycle time, the temperature, water level, and it also indicates the moisture content within the evaporation content inside the weathering tank chambers. For this, specimens are immersed in artificial seawater for 12 months, and the type of specimens used include the beams as shown in the pictures earlier, and as well as the cylinder specimens. The beams were reinforced with basalt FRP, and we also had beams which are reinforced with steel bars to compare the performance of both under marine environments. We also expose this to 6-hour dry and 6-hour wet cycles. So what happens is in one of the tanks, the specimens will be fully immersed condition, while the other will be left for drying. And after 6 hours, this will alternate with each other. So at a time. Tank 1 will be immersed and the other one will be dry, and this will alternate every 6 hours to form the dry and wet cycles, which is simulating the tidal cycles. And to ensure proper drying, we have installed fan dryers, which are seen as the black blowers on top of the tanks. In addition to making the water, in addition to making an artificial seawater, we have also heated the water at 50 degrees Celsius, and the strength of these beams, or the specific concrete that is immersed, is reported to be 50 MPa, which showed a 10 MPa increase after 3 and 6 months exposure, confirming that the self-compacting geopolymer concrete is very affinity towards the marine conditions or in the heated water conditions. To summarize the benefits of SEGC plus FRP composites, we can surely say that they are anti-corrosive and durable composites. They offer better compaction and bonding because it is self-compacting in nature, and the bond strength or the pull-out studies confirm their better pull-out compared to the steel or conventional traditional concrete composites. It also offers high strength even under accelerated weathering conditions. This thus offers reduced maintenance, and they are easy to use, and due to the self-compacting nature, it offers a faster rate of construction. This research is being led by the Sustainable Composite Materials and the Research Structures Group at Deakin University, and the major focus areas of our research group includes novel geopolymer concrete mix development, geopolymer concrete in road pavements, basalt FRP-based geopolymer concrete for floor applications, and geopolymer concrete made with recycled aggregates, along with basalt fibers in slabs and recycled plastics from medical waste in concrete applications. Thank you for your patient listening. And if you want to know more about the research, you can find the articles in these links provided. Thank you all for joining this webinar.